What is going on, y'all? Welcome to the Joel Friday TV podcast. I am Joel Friday. Bienvenido. Welcome to the show. It is Wednesday. We are live on YouTube and on Instagram. Do me a favor, hit that like button, smack it, lay the smack down on the like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we can get the subscribers up and a message out. Do it now. Help a brother out. As you guys know, it is a talk show, so you can call in at any point during the show. 888-775-3773, 888-775-3773, and we could talk about whatever you want, and we can get into it. If for whatever reason you can't call in, but you still have a question or comment, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV or click the super chat button in the live chat here on YouTube and send your question or comments there. I will read them live on air. And guess what? You can also just support the show and donate, and that's appreciated as well. Very much appreciated. We're going to get into it today. Oh, we getting into a love language. Love language. We got to get into it because there's some stuff to be said. You know what I'm saying? And everybody want to get married, but ain't nobody really know what it mean. Well, not everybody. But we're going to get into it. I got some stuff to say. The Love Doctor, Joel Friday. The Love Doctor at your service. I got the potion and the perfect antidote to solve all your relationship and marital problems. No, I'm just kidding. Everything I say, don't believe me. Know for yourself. Don't believe nothing I say unless it makes sense to you. And know for yourself. Amazing stuff. Shout out to the Lion's Den and shout out to the Snake Pit. Amazing stuff. It really is me. Terry says, wow, Joel capping. No cap. No cap. So, I don't know how this came up and why I wanted to talk about it, but it did. And I think it's because there's such a conversation about love and marriage and stuff like that. But there's no real conversation on what that stuff kind of means. So I want to get into it. As you guys know, the title is If You Divorce, You Never Loved. And a lot of people don't like when I say that. People disagree. And I respect it, you know. People definitely disagree with it. And I just want to tell you my perspective. So I look at it like this. And mind you, I'm not married, you know, but it doesn't mean that I can't have an opinion. And for the married folks, you guys are welcome to call in, or the non-married folks, you guys are welcome to call in and give your opinion. But let me just start off by saying is that like it doesn't exist that you fall out of love with somebody. That's not a real thing. That I don't believe you can fall out of love with somebody. Because that means that love, to me, is conditional in your mind, right? You believe it is. And I don't believe that love is based off of what someone does or doesn't do. Even if it's cheat, even if it's, adulterous, even if it's hatred, I don't feel like love can be undone. And if it's undone, you were never in it in the first place. Because when I think of love, I think of how God loves us, right? How Jesus loved the church. And it wasn't based off of actions or opinions or thoughts, right? It wasn't even based off the heart. The love is unconditional. You love your enemy, right? So I think of that love when I think of love. And when you go into a relationship, you go into a marriage, we'll say marriage, that to me, I'm thinking that we should have that type of love, right? The type of love, and that's what the whole vows are set up for. The whole vows are saying this, right? We're not just saying these vows because these are tradition. No, these are what these vows mean. Through sickness and health, through thick and thin. And you can only go through sickness and health and thick and thin if you have a love that has nothing to do with physical appearance, nothing to do with what somebody says or doesn't say, what somebody does or doesn't do. It's not based off of that. It's based off of love that all people should have for all people. Now, of course, there's a lust that also is involved in a marriage, right? In relationships, right? You want to be around them, you want to hug them, you want to, do the do. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But we just can't mistake the two. Now, you could fall out of that, which is lust. You could fall out of lust. You could fall out of pleasure with somebody. But I still feel, even with that if you truly love somebody, and I could be wrong, because I've only been on this earth for 30 and some odd years, right? But even that, I feel like, is enough to still want to be around the person. And oftentimes when you fall out of lust, you no longer want to be around the person. That's because your connection is based on pleasure. And when you're not being pleasured, and pleasure doesn't have to be, sexual, right? It could just be things and words and stuff like that. But when you're not being pleasured, you feel you're not appreciated. And that's the false version of love. So when I say if you divorce, you never loved, I mean that because it doesn't matter if they fall off course, if they what could they do? If they start to doubt themselves and doubt the marriage, if they start to lose their mind, if they now want to turn on you, it doesn't matter, because you got with them because you knew that who that person was at the same time as well. And I know there's this big talk about, what about knowing the person? Nugget Man says, don't tell me you think married guys want to hang around their wives. I think eventually at one point it turns to brother and sister. Eventually it turns to brother and sister. And that may sound weird, but eventually it turns to that, right? And like after you got out, you got your fulfillment out, right? You got your fulfillment out the way. I feel like it just turns into a brother-sister relationship. And you raise your children, and maybe the children are out of the house by this time, right? Maybe not, but there's just a mutual respect. And doesn't mean you don't hug them and kiss them and all that stuff like that, right? But it's just a different type of thing. People are like, what the? Hake says, I disavow hugging and kissing. Yeah. Is Joel longing for a wife? Yes. 1, is Joel longing for a wife? 1, yes. 2, no. 3, I don't know. 4, here for the chat. I do. And sometimes I do. I have to like pay attention to not get caught up in it, if I'm being honest. But I also recognize, I know that I put God first. I know that. So I don't have doubt in that about myself. So that's what that is. But anyway, see, Sal says, more like friendship, not brother and sister-in-law. But regardless, the point is that whether it's friendship, whether it's brother and sister, like it's all, brother and sister does sound a little weird, but it's all based off of, it's no longer about, you're no longer lusting after each other. It's just more so like we did all that. We're together, we're raising children, or, we know each other. And now it's kind of just like, all that stuff kind of wears off. Hugging leads to lustful thoughts. That's funny. Anyway. Back to the point really quick. Is that one thing I want to say is that the feelings come and go, but the love is, true love. And I don't mean like true love, like true relationship love. I'm talking about like the love of God doesn't come and go. So if you have that with the other person, then there is no divorce. It doesn't happen. How is it a divorce? You're not judging them based off of the things they say or do. You're not judging them based off of that. But I also realized that before you get married, maybe not before, I don't know. I like to think before, but who knows where life goes, where your life will go. But I think what's most important is that, especially guys, from when you're dating, and ladies too, this goes for ladies too, but you want to make sure that you know who you are, you know yourself, and that you know yourself enough in a way that you know who you are. And what I mean by that is that you know your heart. So you know that no matter what you do and the mistakes you make when dating or in a relationship, that you mean well, right? And that your intentions are pure. You want to know yourself. So that way, when somebody comes into your life and they're judging you based off of certain things and they don't see, they can't see your intention or see your heart in the situation, then to let them go. And you don't want no one around you that's not gonna see the truth about you, right? So you want to know yourself so that way, because you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna misstep, you're gonna say the wrong thing, you're gonna be offensive, you're gonna say whatever. Like, these things are gonna happen when you're dating in your relationship, but the test is, do they see you for the truth, that you mean well, that you are working on yourself? Are they looking at that? Do they care about that? And if they don't, bye, see ya. And now at this point, you don't have to feel like something was wrong with you, right? You'd be like, dang, man, that's just, like, was I just not nice enough? No, it's that they weren't able to see the truth and they weren't able to work with you. Because of course we're not always gonna agree. So Know yourself so no one can make you feel crazy when they leave. Because I had ladies that I've dated to where they disappear. And it's oftentimes because of what I said. And sometimes it may have been off, like too much. But what they failed to see is the pureness of heart. And that's what I know about myself. So if I know that, then, and they leave, then why would I be affected? They're not looking at the truth. They're not seeing the truth. So when we date, we should be looking for that. What is this person like? What are they about? Are they about the truth? Meaning like working on themselves? Are they about like, what I mean? Or are they coming at you with a checklist? So these are things that must be known before you get into a marriage or especially a marriage. You don't want to get married if you don't even know. And that's why people end up in these situations. Because later they realize like, wow, she is not that person. I'm going to get to some calls in a second here. Give me 1 second. Looking for love in all the wrong places. Bobby Blanco says, looking for love in all the wrong places. Joel was secretly, in a pure manner, duct tape his wife to a vacuum. Terry says, Joel creeping girls out and getting ghosted. Oftentimes it's because of how I think. That's oftentimes the case. It's because of how I think. And the way the things I believe, they don't like. Also with times what it comes down to. And the way I say things or whatever. And like I said, I could be wrong. I could misstep sometimes, or I come off as a certain way sometimes. Who doesn't? But they're not seeing the truth. But anyway, that's a broken record. But the point is that my last thing, and I'm getting some calls, you cannot, I don't think you can. I don't think it's possible. And Joel might be fed up with us clowning. By the way, no, I love the chat. The chat is incredible. The lion's den and the snake pit. He said, no, we all got shook when he said husband and wife become like brother and sister. Oh, man. I got some lines. There's people on the lines. Do you guys think that you can marry somebody and you realize later that either you married the wrong person or it's quote unquote not a real marriage because you married for the wrong reasons, and that's justifiable for divorce? Do you guys believe that? We all got shook. See, I don't believe that. I think maybe I did, but I question now because I think like all things are God ordained, period. I think, yeah, there's maybe problems you got to work through now, but I don't know. And I could be wrong. This is just my theory. I could be wrong. But I think that even the marriages that you realize like, oh, shoot, I married for the wrong reasons, I still think those were divine. Like they were already mapped out. right? And I don't know. To me, divorce is sacred for a reason. And people are in the chat saying not all marriages are from God, but I just don't know. I just don't know about that, because I think that they are. Because I think that God knows the intention, all people's intention. God knows all people's heart. And he knows that everybody is doing what they believe is right in that moment. So I don't think that I think that he watches out for us more than what we believe, right? Even if we don't pray, even if we don't believe in God, I think God watches out for us despite our rejection to him more than we think. So that's what makes me think that even if it's for the wrong intentions, I think he still was kind of like, if you work on yourself and you guys really want to do this right, it can be redeemed. That's just my belief. But let's hear what the callers got to say. I got some peeps on the line. Let me go to Frederick out of LA. What's going on, Frederick?
How's it going, Joel?
All is well. How are you?
All right.
Nice.
I'm listening to you, and it sounds like you telling the women to know themselves, right?
Right.
Oh, man. see, usually I ain't got no gripes. I'm international and everything. You feel me? But you can't, we need a clean slate. You can't be talking to the females out there, because them knowing them is what's causing the argument between man and woman today.
What do you mean?
It's like a woman needs to follow. And she gets to knowing herself. She's going to try to lead a man into getting to know who she is. That ain't what we about.
No, I think...
How is she going to lead? How are we going to lead if she's talking about, no, my inner something inside, because I know myself, tells me that I'm feeling conviction and we shouldn't do what you're telling me to do. No.
Fred, I think that if she gets to know herself, and in turn she'll get to know God, then she'll realize that she's here on this earth to follow. That's where I'm trying to go with it.
Before God is a waste of time. Just know God. God's gonna.
But you can't. Oh, that's a good one. Do you think you can know God?
Into identity,
do you think
into ego?
No, but do you think
we're not going into ego, woman? You're gonna sit still and you're gonna let me lead. And when I know that you're right with God, yeah, we're gonna be good.
Sit still. Well, do you think that you can know God without?
Joel.
Do you think?
Joel.
Oh, answer this real quick. Do you think that you can know God without knowing yourself, or do you think you can know yourself without knowing God?
Hold on, which one are you asking? You asked me 3 different questions.
Okay, so do you think you can know?
You can know God
without knowing yourself. Do you think you can know God without knowing yourself?
When you know God, you will find yourself.
That's what I'm saying.
You won't know God until you won't know yourself until you found God.
You won't know. Right. But to me, it's the same thing. But anyway, go ahead and make your point.
No, once you find God, once God is most important. Don't put nothing before God. That is the number one commandment. No other gods before God. You know what I'm saying? That was part of the old Maya laws back in ancient Kemet, but we're not going to go there. But anyway, you putting this identity of herself, we getting away from identities, right?
No, not identity. I'm just telling the woman to get to know herself and the men to get to know themselves. And when they get to know themselves, they know God and they'll know their proper role.
They're going to get to know the unconscious, the you, the non-you, the who is I.
That's good.
They're going to be all confused.
No, they're not.
No.
So what are you telling them, that they should stay blind about, they should not look within, they should just follow the man and just be dumb?
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. Because look, without
Frederick,
the
you ain't
respect
ever
of,
gonna get nobody like that.
Without the respect of the man that's gonna put her, because she's gonna be like, look, he's gonna have to be the one that takes her to get respect in the world. Because without a man, a woman has no respect in the world. So for her to give him all respect is how she gains respect. She only gains respect by giving him. But how is she
gonna give respect if she don't even know what respect means because she don't even get to know herself?
If she found God.
But how has she found God if you just said that she's gonna be dumb and she's not looking at herself? So how is she gonna know God if she does not looking at herself? She's gonna be dumb. If she's gonna be dumb, she's gonna be doing dumb things, and it ain't gonna be following you. It ain't gonna be respecting you.
Do men chase women or do women chase men?
Nobody chases, but the woman seeks out the man.
In this today's society, the woman seeks out the man. Are you serious?
In today's society, no, that's not what it is, but that's the right way.
Okay then. So if it's today's society and the men are picking and choosing because the women need to be a member of or respected in society and then not without a man, therefore, you giving them too much power to say, I know who I am, you're going to have to respect me, and I'm going to feel this way about this, and we're going to have to argue about some stuff because I don't want to change who I am. No, that's not what we're doing.
So what are we supposed to... go ahead.
So many people going to get ahead of you that know that women know how to listen and let their man lead, that ain't got to spend time explaining where we going and what we doing.
No person.
She'll okay and agree with you after 45 minutes of explaining. Well, who wants to explain 50 to 45 minutes?
Right. That's what I'm saying, Frederick. We're saying the same thing. Because what I'm saying is that because what you're basically saying is that a woman should respect and follow the man. I'm saying that too. But I think where the divide is coming is you think that they're going to find that by not getting to know themselves. And I'm saying that they're going to find that if they get to know themselves. But let me ask you, do you think that do you think a woman should, a woman's going to follow a man blindly? Meaning like a woman should just not have an understanding of why she's following. She just should follow because that's what women do.
If she came from a non-fatherless home, she's gonna be chasing any other man because she don't know who her father is. But a good father that raised a good girl is gonna bring home her father, and she's gonna know. They gonna know.
But
how to act accordingly.
No woman is gonna follow a man without understanding.
Don't say no woman.
Not one woman is gonna follow a man if she doesn't understand what follow means or why she's following. And it seems like you just want them to blindly follow.
When a woman sees a man that's self-sufficient and pays his own bills and don't need no woman to support him, she know what a man is. She's like, yeah.
That ain't a man, though. That ain't a man. That ain't a man.
Go ahead.
That ain't a man.
What's not a man?
A man that pays for the bills. That you think that defines a man
in his own world? No. Before he meets her, he's not living with his mama.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This man is already a man. He's not a boy. You know what I'm saying? There's labels to, you know what I'm saying? Even grown adults can be boys. That don't mean they're men. Men carry themselves a certain way. All females aren't women. Some of them are the B words. But at the same time, you got to know how to differentiate who you dating and what you're looking for. A lot of these men a lot of these boys go to churches and act like men and play with these girls that's looking. They got to be able to know and be precise to be like, are you a regular here? Don't just give it up all quick. Make sure they come to your church. They involved in the community. You know what I'm saying? They know how to find a man. Trust me. They want the quick gift, and these simpsters out here giving it to them because they like, yeah, that's right, girl. Stand in your identity. What you want? Shrimp? And they'll take them and let them believe that hype while they spoiling them for the little knickknacks, and then they go their own way and spoil them for us to have to deal with later. I don't like that.
No, I agree.
Talk about the men and how they deal with the relationships and being scared, because a lot of men are scared of women, and they need to take the control back. You know what I'm saying? I hate the fact, like, women are doing this and doing this.
Right.
Out them. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're
Got
saying,
some money
Frederick.
hungry.
And I think that
They
only
all money hungry.
women and men only gonna ever get to that point is if they get to know themselves. Is all I'm saying. But I appreciate what you're
They got
saying.
no God.
Okay.
I'm just playing. All right, Joel.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, stay up. All right, well.
Listen, it's the same thing to me. Get to know yourself. You can't get to know your God without getting to know yourself. They don't exist separate. You cannot get to know God without getting to know yourself. As you get to know yourself is when you find God, is when you see the truth. It's the people who go and look for God in the Bible and through the church and all these things, is that they end up just adopting information and knowledge, but they're not really looking at themselves. They're not getting to know themselves because they believed into these false values of like, be selfless and help others and put others before yourself. And they take that literally and they don't get to know themselves because they're trying to be of service. But no, it's just like the airplane rule. When you're about to crash, you put your mask on first before you put somebody else's mask on. That's just that. You got to know yourself. And when you know yourself, you know God. And when you know God, you know yourself. It's the same exact thing. So ain't no woman about to follow no man. Ain't no woman about to follow no man blindly. That doesn't make sense. They have to understand what it means to follow and why they should follow. And if she's following you blindly, beware. Be careful. She lying, because that's going to burn out. That's going to wear off. She's got to know what that means. What does follow mean? What does lead mean? And one can only know when you get to know yourself and you get to know God. So let me go to, still good call, Frederick. Let me go to Bane. Bane is calling back. Let me go to Bane out of New Mexico. What's going on, Bane?
Hey, what's up, Jarrell?
All is well. How are you?
Don't worry, I won't do the knockoff band impression that I bought at the thrift store.
Right. Right on. What's going on?
Hey, I heard you talking about chivalry and things to that extent, and but first I got to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
So I need you to clear things up. So Sean is no longer answering the phones, right?
Right. He's training somebody to answer the phones right now.
Because his name, well, I don't know if you want me to say his name on the air, but he told me his name, but he sounds identical to Sean.
Because he white, too. They both white. They white.
Okay, so that explains it. Then.
Yeah. But don't say his name. Yeah, don't say his name out on the air, but...
Yeah. I won't dox his name.
Yeah, there's a new guy.
I thought Sean was just trying to... I thought Sean was just trying to fool me. I was like, come on, Sean, stop playing, man. You guys sound identical.
No, we when Sean said he left, we had to find a person that was identical to Sean to take his place, and I think we got one.
You know what? I think so too.
Well, go ahead. You were about to say something about chivalry?
Yeah. Hey, chivalry. You know, I'm sure you've heard the term chivalry is dead, but I think we can officially say that chivalry is no longer needed. And is this show still considered a children's show or a family show?
Yeah, an undertone.
Okay, I just don't want to overstep my bounds and say stuff, and I'll try to keep it clean. But
yeah, try to keep it clean.
What have you ever wondered? What kind of value a man can bring to a woman these days? What does a man possibly have to offer to a woman that a woman can't already do for herself? Like, if you say you saw a woman you liked and you had that glisten in your eyes for her, and you thought about pursuing her, have you ever wondered, what kind of value could I add to this woman's life? Like, what can I do to elevate her life? There's, I've been wondering about this, and I don't think that women don't need men nowadays, Darrell. You know what I mean? There's technology. There's so many things at our fingertips, and I'm sure there's that small percentage of women who do want a man to be there and help her with things that she doesn't want to do. But the majority of these girls, they're just fixated on their phones. They're stuck on social media. They're just this new generation. It's evolving to the point where a man is just a nuisance these days. What do you think about this?
Yeah, that's a good point. I agree. I definitely think that the need for a man is not what it once was, and girls, tend to they live their life believing that they don't need one, and that men are irrelevant. And I understand why they feel that way. I disagree with it, but I understand why they feel that way is because there's no examples of men. There's very few, right? There's very, very few examples of real men. So they lost appreciation in the value of a man. They lost it because they've grown just accustomed to being able to take care of things themselves, being able to work themselves, being able to do all these things, even though that comes with anxiety, depression, and all these things. But they've grown comfortable with living life without men. And then they can't miss what they've never had. You know what I mean? They can't be like, wow, I wish I had a man around. Wow, I wish that I was married and raised children, because they don't know what that actually looks like. So, and then the men that we do have, today, oftentimes, most of them are very weak, right? And so then on top of that, they hate men because men are pretending to be strong, but they're not. And women hate that as well. So on top of them doing what they want, they have this hatred towards men on top of it. So, there's just it all comes down to God not being reflective of real men today, I think.
You know what, Gerald? That's a really good explanation of things. I like how you put that into perspective. But you know what? Here's my dilemma: is that you're right. There's a lot of guys running around thinking that they're men, and they're thinking that they're alpha, and they're posting. They're alpha, and they're over there posting. Photos in the locker room when they shouldn't be taking photos in the locker room, in the gym locker room. But they're in their underwear and they're thinking they're alpha, and that's the problem too. Is that we got a lot of guys running around thinking they're real men when the thing about it is that when you come across if you ever come across a man it's definitely a different kind of energy. It's a calm energy, and he's not trying to prove anything to anybody. He's just being himself, and he might not even know that he's considered a real or he's considered a man. He's just doing what needs to be done, but the problem is that we don't have that many examples. We don't have examples for younger people, younger men to learn from. So I guess, you know what?
Yeah.
I think that this is we have guys like Jesse. Jesse is definitely an example, but there's not too many.
Yeah, that's the point that I was making too, is that they're just very few. There's very few out there, and people are not seeing physical examples out in the world of what it looks like and what it really means. But I agree, man. But that's why, you and me have to work on ourselves and overcome so we can be examples, right? And be examples to people. And naturally, it inspires people to want to change because the light shines on the darkness, and it makes people reflect. And you don't even have to critique or criticize them. They'll just see the light in you, and then it'll reflect on their darkness, and they'll be like, "Oh shoot, I'm not it." You know what I mean?
Well, I can tell you one thing for sure is that I definitely don't go out. I don't conduct myself and think about how I don't know. I don't think that I'm better than, or I don't think I'm better than anyone. I'm just a nobody. I don't consider myself to be a real man. I don't even know what a real man is, to be honest with you. I don't. When you're talking to someone, you can tell that someone has that kind of energy, but I don't pretend to be someone I'm not. I see someone when I'm around younger men, I don't consider myself to be a man amongst them. I'm just myself. So I think that going around trying to be a light for people, what if we're really not showing them the right example?
No, man. What you just said was 100,000% true. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say, but maybe it's not coming off as that. But what you said is 100%. I'm glad you said it that way, is that there is no identity of what a man should look like. But when I say focus on self and overcome, is exactly what you're saying there, is that like you're just working on yourself, but you're not calling yourself a man, or you're not calling yourself alpha or beta. You're not identifying with these things. You're just living life and learning and growing. And that in itself is the light, though. That is in itself is the light. And you also know that you may do noble things, but you also know that you make mistakes, and you're not identifying with either or. So if that's what you're saying, I 100% agree with that. You should just be living life and focusing on, growing and learning.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And on a quick note,
quickly.
I went when I was on YouTube. I was looking to tune into your show, and it said Nick's show was up. I'm like, what? Why is Nick's show starting, man? I thought Joel's show is supposed to start. Come on, Nick. Where the heck is Joel, man?
Wait, so when you clicked on my YouTube channel to watch, or my thumbnail, it took you to Nick's page?
No, it's just, how when you open the YouTube app, it just shows you, like, on your feed, it'll show you people who are live and people upcoming live shows.
Yeah.
And Nick's popped up before yours, and I thought Nick was coming on at this hour, and I thought you took a break. I was like, I felt really let down, and then I realized that I refreshed it, and then your show popped up. I was like, oh my God. I'm so happy now. Like, I'm so glad Jarrell's show was on and not Nick's.
Wait. Nick has a great show.
Hey, man, I'm just joking. But I was let down that I thought Nick's show was up. I like Nick's show, but if Nick's listening, Nick, you have a phenomenal show.
Yeah.
I love your show.
What the?
And I was just I'm trying to be a little bit lighthearted, but it might not be coming across that way.
You're just messing around. Well, I appreciate it. I got to run, though, because I got some other calls I got to get to, but great points, man, and I appreciate you calling in.
All right, take care, Joel.
All right, you as well. Bye. He was just joking. Yeah, he has a sense of humor that last time he made a joke, and I was like, wait, what? He just has that sense of humor that doesn't necessarily always come across at, like, the punchline doesn't hit. But anyway, man, calls are on fire. Let me get to some more calls. Oh, Lin Yan Chin says, verily I say unto ye, super chat, just as Christ pranced upon the water with his little Messiah power, so too does Joel Friday. Blessed are his toes that twinkle in the wind. Right on, Lin Yan Chin. I appreciate it. Twinkling for Jesus in the wind. Amazing stuff. Man. Let me go to Brian out of North Carolina. Brian, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
What's going on, Joel? How you doing today?
All is well. How are you?
All is well, man. Hey, I'm going to get right to it because of time.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Referring to the caller asking the question, what can a man offer a woman today? What a man offers a woman is really outside of a man's hands, aside from the fact from being present, because it's really all spiritual. And what a man offers a woman is order, right? And you don't even have to be that man that's her husband to do that.
Yeah.
That's just part of what comes with being able to see.
Right.
Which is really kind of what you said earlier. If you're not trying to do what's right, then it's never going to work. Or if you don't want what's right, then it's never going to work.
Right.
Because you won't be able to see, which is really what it all comes down to, is just being able to see.
Being able to see, 100%.
And I just wanted to tap on that. It's really out of our hands, man. It's
man. No,
it's amazing.
Oh, go ahead. Finish your point.
No, I was just ending my point. I was just going to speak on really how amazing it is, and just the simple fact that it's really something that we have no control over.
Yeah.
It's either you're here in the present, being able to see.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's all we can see is what's here right now. This is what you can see. Anything else, you're lying to yourself.
And what's so interesting about what you're saying, though, too, Brian, and correct me if I'm not getting it right, but I think what's most important, and you simply just put it, is that when you're dating or whatever, you have to be able to see. You have to be able to see, because when you don't see, it's based off of a checklist, it's based off of judgment, it's based off of these things, a physical. And in order for you to even see if this is the person you want to marry or the person that you're gonna have a family with, whatever, is you got to be able to see what most people don't see. They don't have that insight. They don't see the spiritual side of things. And if they don't see that, you can hang it up, because they have to be able to see God working with you and God with you, and see that, and if you don't, then that's when the problems are coming in. So,
yeah, you're right about that. But and to caveat off that, being able to see is a gift. It's not something that it just is what it is. So, and that's easy to recognize in others. It's not like you got to be out here sitting in a tree stand making signs to reel something in. You just do your thing, man.
Exactly.
Just go out and do your thing. If y'all really that's to anybody that's like really worried about something like that, getting married and whatnot, for whatever reason you want to do it, but
yeah, just live your life, and then it'll come to you. You don't got to rush it. You don't got to chase it. You don't got to make it happen. The right one will.
You ain't got to do nothing but watch.
Exactly.
Pay attention.
100%, Brian. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for calling in. Call me again.
Man. I wish you well.
All right, you as well. Nice. Let me go to man. Lines are smoking, but I have some people waiting on the line. Man, let me go to Floor. I'm gonna try to get to all these calls as quickly as possible. So let me go to Floor. If you can, Floor, make it brief and go straight to your point. Oh, shoot. Floor, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, Joel. I'm going to be super, super quick.
Okay. Appreciate it.
I think that when you said brother and sister, what you meant, it was intimacy, right? The intimacy that you have with your husband or your wife.
Right.
How it develops. At the beginning, when you start dating somebody, it's a little bit exciting in a way. You're like, oh, like he's so handsome or she's so beautiful,
right,
and whatever, but you have no clue who that person is. You're just physically attracted to that person. But as the years goes by, when I met my husband, I was, 18?
Oh, wow.
And now I'm 32.
Oh, okay,
so
nice.
It comes down to the point that you can see that they're physically changing because they change. My husband now, he's 36.
Right.
But once you have that intimacy with that person, you know that person is going to become unattractive at some point, right? Maybe
Right.
like 60s or 50s, whatever.
Right.
But you can still see the trace of, if you want to call it, that young person that you met.
Right.
And if you're truly intimate with that person, it really doesn't matter how much they physically change. The fact that their eyes speak, it's like their eyes speak for you. And that's basically what you fall in love with, their soul,
Man.
right? You know how they say the eyes are the entrance to the soul of a person?
Right.
And it gets to the point that you see that person's eyes and you already know what they're going to say. You already know how they're feeling. You already know just basically what they're thinking, right? And that's what marriage is.
Oh, I lost Floor. I didn't touch it. I think Floor, maybe her phone died. But Floor is making such a great point, and because of time, it kind of worked out. But Floor is 100% right. And the beauty, this is the thing, and this is what I'm saying, and thank you, Floor, for making that point. The beauty has nothing to do with physicality. Zero. And it has nothing to do with how much they make, what the man does or the woman does, what they provide to. It's not none of that. The beauty is who the person is. It's who the person is. So it doesn't matter if they get fat, right? Even though if they're walking in love, they won't, their weight won't get out of control. But it doesn't even matter about that, right? What matters is that who they are, their spirit. And that's what I'm saying. When you know that and you see that, that doesn't change. That never changes. And you love them and you're attracted to them for that reason. And no type of pimple or let's say her arm gets cut off, his arm gets cut off, she loses her legs. That's not gonna matter. Because it's not shallow. It's the spirit. Terry said, how fat? But the point is that like those things don't even matter. What's important is what's important, and that's the spirit. And once two people can see that, like Brian was saying, once two people can see, you guys are locked in on that. You're not locked. Everything else is just what it is, right? Be healthy, be fit, you know what I'm saying? Like, look decent. You know, you don't want to just let yourself go, right? Of course not. But that's not what's important. So that's what I'm saying is that once you know that, you never divorce because you're not for them. You can't fall out of love with somebody. And if you do, it's physical appearance, it's attitude, it's personality, like the stuff that is not even real. So let me get to JC really quick. Last minute here, JC, make it quick. Oh, I lost JC. Everybody hanging up. Let me go to Rick then. Rick, really quick, last minute here. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Joel, man, I'm with you on that, man. When it comes to marriage, even though I'm divorced, it should be one and done, you know. You marry once, grow old together to the end. But
yeah,
a lot of people marry for love. Then they say, well, when I met her, she was nice. Then all of a sudden, I met the person who I met was the representative, and now the real person come out when I married him. But it was there all the time.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
I'm with you on that. And my first wife left me, and I tried to do all I can to reconcile. I didn't make all the right moves either, but I didn't think I made enough, for her not to want the marriage,
Yeah.
But like Geno Jennings, he's a pastor. He will not let you in any leadership if you've been married before and then you remarry.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah. He will not let you. Matter of fact, if you become a member of his church, he will encourage you to go divorce your wife. That's because you already been married. You're still married.
Wow. Oh, so he doesn't even like people to be married. Period.
Well, no, he'd like you to be married, but let's say you remarried.
Oh.
He'll tell you to go divorce your second wife and stay with your first wife.
Oh yeah. Wow. It's kinda based.
Yeah.
Wow.
He don't let you in any leadership if you've been married twice. He'll tell you, hey, you can't be in a deacon or nothing if you're still married.
Wow.
That means married to your first wife.
Interesting. Well, I mean, you know, in the circumstances like yours, where you can't like force the other person to have the same value or view. So it's like there's not much you can do in certain situations. But I get why he says what he's saying. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But
because it was always designed to be one and done.
One and
But
done.
a lot of times we get sex involved before we get married, and then we never see who the true person is.
Exactly.
And like you said, if you truly love someone, divorce wouldn't even be an option, even if you are going through some difficult times.
Right. As a matter of fact, it shouldn't even like phase you that much, right? It shouldn't even phase you that much because you know that they're just acting up right now. I know that the real her is not like this. She's just caught up, or vice versa. And you wouldn't even let that phase you in that way. But I'm so out of time, Rick. Yeah, I know. I feel like that's always end up being the case. But once I get a second hour, we'll be able to go on longer. But I appreciate it, Rick.
We got to make it happen real soon, brother Joel.
Oh, okay. And make sure when you come on the airwaves on either show, just don't make sure not to promote anything. And just give it to the producer if you have something you want us to show. The call screener.
We'll do.
All right. Thanks, Rick. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Love you guys. Have a good weekend, Joel. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. Love you, brothers.
All right. All right. You as well, Rick. Man, I'm like way past, and Nick about to beat me up. Gotta go, y'all. Man, bye. Appreciate the love.